All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to, I guess, these new Tuesday talks with Tim and and my guy down there, Wally. Mr. Wally seems to be my partner in crime, and he's going to be my partner in crime going forward. This is cool. Doing these little morning on the East Coast of the United States shows, but we wanted to grab more viewers from the UK when they're not sleeping, so we figured this might be a good time to do some shows. So I was able to get our good friend Steve Mothersoul. Haven't seen him in a while, have we? What's going on, Steve?
Yeah, we've had a couple of good weeks, and then a terrible weekend.
Terrible weekend, which we'll ask you about since you were there. We'll get your insight on the outside of the stadium stuff and your experience, and that'll be some cool stuff. So we I also pulled in another American who was actually at the Sevilla match, so we'll talk a little bit about that as well. I guess Steve, you were there too, right? Yeah. So we got two guys that were there. So Matt, tell everybody where you're from and stuff.
I am from Amesbury, Massachusetts, so happy to be on. And actually, I was at the Villa match, not Sevilla. So
you're from Amesbury?
Yeah.
I went to Amesbury High School.
You went to Amesbury High School? I'm not really from. I'm from New Jersey originally, but I live in Amesbury now. So, just say.
Yeah, it was a shithole when I lived there, but it seems to have improved quite a bit since 1996. I went to high school there for a year and a half, and then I went to Newburyport, and I also went to Kentucky. I went to 3 high schools in 4 years. That's a fun fact. Good times. Anyway,
we like it. It's a nice spot.
Oh yeah. So and Wally, how you doing this morning, my man?
I'm doing good. Really good. Good to see Steve again. I haven't seen you in a while, Steve. That's great.
How are you, Wally?
I'm doing great. Yep.
I wasn't sure Steve was gonna be on because his awesome schedule. It's kind of it's a little more awesome than my schedule. So that's why we haven't seen him in a while. But
yeah,
I'm so happy that you're here, Steve. Really, truly.
It's my pleasure.
But yeah, so anybody in the live chat this morning? No. Not yet. Okay. The opposite of last week, it was hopping, man. It was great. But yeah, so let's start off things. So since our last show, we've had 2 matches. One was a good match, long match, a lot of extra time, and a lot of I don't know. Did you guys feel that? Even though we ended up going in extra time, did you feel at all? That we were definitely going to win that game? So let's start with Steve and go around. Were you worried at all?
There were a couple of points in the second half where it looked like they were getting back in the game. So yeah, it was a little bit wobbly, but do you know what? I think after the Areola save, which was almost worth a goal in itself, and then Souček putting us 1 each, we weren't really that concerned. We looking at their record as well, they're terrible away from home.
Yeah,
I know they've never been beaten by an English side until now in the Europa League, but their current record away from home is terrible. So we were quite confident. And the atmosphere.
I was just going to ask you about that.
it gave the players that's what carried them through for the whole 120 minutes.
Yeah.
I've never been to a game like that at the London Stadium. People are comparing it. I never went to this game, but people are comparing it to the last game at the Boleyn.
Yeah. So, Matt, your first match at London Stadium just so happens to have had the absolute best atmosphere in years. What did you think about it?
So I was at the Aston Villa.
Oh, Aston Villa. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
sorry, man.
No, you're fine. I would have
loved the Aston Villa game. So what was what was your first experience like at London Stadium? Because I've told my story a million times, but your first match there, because you said you've been to the Boleyn, but like how does it compare?
Yeah, so I mean, One of my favorite aspects of the bowling was my wife and I went and we got off the underground, and I was saying this to you guys off the air. It was just walking down the street, and there's little markets and things like that. And then all of a sudden the stadium peeks out from behind the building and everyone's singing. You go to Nathan's. But it was cool. Once you got over the whole getting off at the mall, the atmosphere actually at the stadium was pretty good. I mean, obviously, I took video at the Bowlin. I took video at the London Stadium. The video at the Bowlin's much louder, but it was a great atmosphere. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Everybody was into it. Everybody was yelling, and it was good. It was the track didn't bother me that much. I know, but I didn't sit that close either. So I think if you're higher up, it's not as big a deal. I'm sure if you're like right on the first row, it's more annoying.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I feel very lucky that I got to go to the Bowling because I had only been a West Ham fan at that point for for a couple of years. So it wasn't like I was some lifelong fan. Like I feel lucky I got to go before it closed. But yeah, all in all, it was a great match. On to Sevilla. I agree. I thought that save really, I was nervous and I felt like we were kind of battering them at the beginning and not getting anything from it. And after that Areola save, I started to get a little more comfortable, and then getting the goal from Souček before the half just really changed my whole mindset in the second half watching. And I felt like a winner was coming somewhere, and I felt like, I don't know, you just had that. Sometimes you watch a game and you just have that feeling like good things are going to happen. And that's what I had the whole night after Souček's goal, because that was the moment when you're like, okay, we're in this, like we have a shot.
Yeah.
And yeah, once that was amazing. That was it was funny because I planned for 90 minutes and then I was getting dinner ready for the kids. And when Yarmolenko scored, I yelled and it scared the crap out of my wife. And then she just yelled back at me that I can't scream.
Oh, man.
Didn't ruin the moment, though.
Wally, what were your thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Feelings while watching the Sevilla match, yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of pessimistic. I was resigned to the fact that Sevilla were going to take it because they were coming in ahead. They've won the Europa League, so many times in the past, like a record number or something. So I was fairly, set in my mind that we weren't going to win it, but I was just hoping for a really good, strong performance and, everybody up for the match and having a good time. So, but that Areola save was key. If they had actually scored that, then I think it would have been over.
Yeah.
But the fact that he scored that, or he saved it, and brought us, and then with the Souček goal, I was like, oh, wait a minute, we have a chance. So yeah, I enjoyed the second half, and I have to say, afterwards, Moyes himself said that once he saw Sevilla playing, I think he said to the team at halftime, like, listen, we've got this. They're not bringing anything. Yeah. So yeah. So it was great. I have to say that when Yarmolenko scored, I kind of shed a tear. I was like, wow, we're really doing this. So that was great. So
hey, Jazz, Mr. Jazz, welcome. How are you? Good morning.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah, I got the times mixed up, didn't I? I thought it was 3 p.m. UK time.
Well, generally it is, but that's friggin' daylight savings threw things off. So we're only 4 hours different right now. But we're just going around talking about, hey, at any point in the match, like, did you feel like we were going to be winning this for Sevilla?
I think before the game, I thought it would go to extra time, and then I wasn't sure after that because we got the same players playing every week, and whether they're going to get tired in extra time or not. But somehow we looked okay, I think. And Yarmolenko, pulled a good goal. Souček scored, and we just got over the line. But it's just a bit odd that, first of all, I'm really surprised how easily we got out the Europa group. When the draw was done, we thought Dynamo Zagreb and some teams might provide us with some competition, but it not really turned up. And Sevilla, 6 times, I think they've won the trophy. And over 2 legs, I've not seen anything from them, and they're second in their own league. So I'm really surprised. I think first of all, the atmosphere was, probably the best I've seen since I've been going there. It was from 1 hour before kickoff, there was a huge queues outside the ground, It was a buzz there all night, during, before, and after the game. So for me, I'm very surprised. Yeah, I thought Sevilla would put up a bit of a battle, but I think the only worry for me now is obviously Lyon. I think we'll get over them, but obviously the second leg's at their ground, and I think in Europe, when you've got the second leg at home, I think that's a nice little bonus that we had as group winners, really. But for me, a nice surprise. But the season's turning into 2 halves now, isn't it? The Europa and the league, two different forms, isn't it, in both competitions? I think
completely 2 different forms. I mean, we are just sinking down the table. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And again, because I mean, even when we were sitting up in 4th, but we had so many games in hand, and now that's starting to catch up, and then they're surpassing, and then we have an opportunity for a 6-pointer, and we fucking bottle it.
I mean, Spurs, front 3 look very good. The guy who came in January, I think 2 goals in 6 games, 4 assists. The 2 strikers, they had 2 more strikers on the bench, Bergwijn, and who's the other guy? There's another one waiting to come on, and I thought, bloody hell,
Lucas Moura. Yeah,
that's the difference, isn't it? When you look at the end of the table, we're going to miss out by 2 points last season because we didn't have a replacement for Rice. And then we're going to miss out by, again, a handful of points because didn't buy anyone apart from Zuma hitting the ground running. We haven't got anything, have we? So
no. Yeah. So we have a little bit of a break. So I guess our next match is the 3rd of April.
Everton.
Yeah. Well, they haven't been playing great either. So I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, Wally, what were your thoughts on the Spurs match, my man? And where did you watch it? At home?
Yeah, I was at home. I didn't go to I didn't go to Stowe's, rather, the bar we watching at Philadelphia, because I had a bad feeling about it. After being like playing 120 minutes and just a 2-day break in between, I was not feeling it. So I thought that if we could have gone in there and maybe riding the wave of the win over Sevilla, we could have maybe got something. But as soon as we didn't look like anything in the beginning, and Kane just carved us up, and Son. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't go all the way down to Stowe's.
I mean, as soon as I saw the lineup come out, I mean, everybody, I'm assuming, knowing how we played on against Sevilla, how many minutes these players were playing, and there was not many changes, if any at all. I mean, I think just Fabianski and we added Masuaku, whatever. Yeah. I mean, dude. And Antonio, in my opinion, he looked like fucking, I don't know. He looked like he should be playing for Middlesbrough or something, or fucking maybe Morecambe or something, because he's a bully. He gets into certain great spots, in which he always does. That's what he's famous for. He's famous for bullying his way into these perfect spots. And then every shot, which wasn't many, that he actually took was absolutely not even looking up, not even paying attention to where the fuck he was shooting. It's not like him. It's not like when he had his form on. I mean, it was kind of like he shouldn't have been out there anyway. But that's just my opinion. But Matt, so what were your thoughts on the Spurs game, man?
Yeah, it was disappointing. I do a podcast with a Spurs fan, so he's been letting me have it for like 4 days.
Can you?
Yeah. College friend. It's like a general sports podcast.
Okay.
But yeah. So yeah, it was definitely disappointing, especially when the lineup came out. That when you see Matsuaku in the lineup, that's all immediately deflating. Unfortunately, you're just like, oh, okay, I got it. They're gonna attack down that side. I thought Son was really good. I mean, that finish on the first goal was kind of fluky. The finish on the second goal from Son was insane. So, that was a dessert. I don't know. I thought we could have finished that half 1-1. I thought when you looked at the XG, it was pretty even at the half because we were good from 30 minutes to 45, but then there was nothing in the second half. I thought Fornals coming on would help, but it didn't really. It almost reminded me of the inverse of the Spurs game at the London Stadium, where in the second half, West Ham just kind of kept them at an arm's length the whole time. They were sort of passing around at the halfway point, and that's what we were doing. We had some of the ball, but it was just, pretty far away from anywhere dangerous and didn't really look threatening.
Yeah.
I don't know. Thursday was so great. Sucks to fall down. It sucks to lose to Spurs anytime. Especially here in America. One of the things I met up, when I was in London last week, we ran into some West Ham fans at a bar, and we were just talking about like American fandom in general, and they were just absolutely shocked to hear that Spurs are one of the most popular teams here. Because the first thing they said was, "Well, everyone fucking hates Spurs. Why would they be popular there?"
Yeah, and they're the fucking worst. I'm telling you. I know, and I've through this channel, and not just the channel, but going to different sports pubs across the country, to watch matches with West Ham fans, and if there's other supporters there, or just meeting, American football supporters in general, or English football supporters in America. Spurs are the fucking worst, without a fucking doubt. They're cocky, condescending hipsters. I fucking can't stand them. And
that's the part that kills me is the hipsters. The hipster aspect of it.
Every one of them. But anyway, fucking Steve was there at the away day. Tell us about the away day, my friend.
Well, the first thing I would say is you've got to remember, not only did they play 120 minutes on Thursday, but there was also the emotion of Thursday. They weren't just physically drained; they were emotionally drained as well. And you could see it in the warm up before the game against Spurs. They were knackered even then. I mean, why? Because this was really a free hit, and why he didn't make some wholesale changes, like 8 or 9 changes, and just throw the kids on and say, go and have some fun. Because the problem we had, we were absolutely knackered. Spurs are a fast counter-attacking football team. They will go from their own penalty box to our penalty box in bang, 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 3 moves, and they just outpaced us all over the park. And that Son, I hate that little. And he just run us ragged.
Yeah.
But talking about their fans, I've never experienced a day like that in this. I mean, the stadium's nothing to write home about. They spent £1 billion on it, and it's really not that great, to be honest. Everybody was saying about, you'll be so impressed at how good the stadium was. I went up to Old Trafford a few years ago, and I was blown away by that. I went to Spurs on Sunday, and it was just like like a big grey metal box. It wasn't impressive.
Steve, as far as I know, obviously I shot the Green Street Hammer History thing on my channel, and I was astounded by how much space we had on Green Street to build a new stadium. As far as Spurs, how the hell did they get permission to fit that into that area? I don't think they had much room anyway, did they? Like to put that in?
No, it does. It butts right up against the houses in the estate. I mean, it's the craziest placed stadium I've ever seen as well. Yeah. And the policing of it was absolutely shocking. Oof.
You were talking off the air about the walk to the stadium too. Like, tell us more about how they treated the West Ham supporters.
Well, we got off the train and we were all sort of corralled in one area until we all got together, and then we were frog marched, surrounded by police. I don't know the names of the streets that they marched us around, but they were lined with Spurs fans just hurling dog's abuse at us. And the minute that any West Ham fan tried to give it back, the police were jumping on us and just letting them do it. And then after the game was the funniest. We came out one way around the stadium. The Spurs came out the other way around the stadium, all barriered off by the police with all their vans and riot gear and everything. And then we all got sent round to the station, and we all met at the same entrance to the station with just a line of police officers up the middle, and that was it. I've never seen anything like it. And then, of course, you get into the station, and we're all on one platform, and they're all on the other platform, and it was just it was like being back at school. Man. Yeah, it was like seriously, we were shouting across the train tracks at each other. My dad's bigger than your dad.
It's like a movie.
Oh, it was stupid. Yeah,
that's funny. Oh God.
Woo. Why do they sing like it's a medieval church? Like with that,
what do you mean?
Low, they sing slow and low. It's like very bassy. I don't know. Just the way they sing throws me off at that stadium.
That's what they are.
It's just like it's like super deep voice, like when the Spurs go.
Yeah,
sounds weird.
Yeah. Come on, you Spurs.
It's like those 2 channels they got. Those 2 idiots. We are Tottenham team.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, those are the biggest.
They have been unbearable. They have.
I'm not. Yeah. Bloody hell.
But like we were singing at them, queuing up for the station. 3-1 in your cup final.
Yeah.
Have it. Thursday was our important game.
It's just crazy how we've played so many games and I had to squeeze this one in, and now we've got a fortnight off.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
It's just mad. We've played 3 more games than Everton or something like that, and we don't get a rest, do we? Just keep piling in the games.
I think if you look at the table, we've played the most, haven't we?
Yeah, 30 alongside Wolves. Yeah, us two, and actually Leeds and Brentford as well. But you got teams like Everton, Burnley, Leicester. 27. They're 3 behind still. And I've heard rumours, I don't know if it's true, and I did think this might happen, and my worry, Arteta wants the season to go ahead by another week or 2, push it forward. He's such a slime, that guy.
He's such a baby.
Yeah.
Proper. Unbelievable. Going back to Sunday, just quickly, there was one thing I did notice that worried me a little bit, and I don't know if you saw it on TV or not, but Declan Rice, every time he didn't have the ball or he wasn't involved in play, he was limping.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if he's carrying a knock or if he'd pulled something or if he just hadn't recovered fully from Thursday. But he was always, every opportunity he got, he was trying to stretch out. It looked like his groin. He was trying to stretch it out. He was limping about. But of course, once he got involved in play, it didn't seem to affect him that bad because he was still trying to do what Declan does. But he was a bit of a cause for concern. And if he goes away with England and has an issue.
This is when break is when he picked up an injury last time.
Yeah, last season. Yeah, about to say. Well, Dawson's been playing with injections, isn't it? Already, we know that he's not fully. He's not fully.
And when is the timetable, or what's the timetable on Bowen? Is it improved or?
The thing is
the update. I don't know.
There's a whisper that it's a fracture on the bone in his foot, and he's out for the season.
Ooh.
So he could be back. So the thing with a fracture is it won't show up right away on an X-ray. At least you usually need to have like a bone scan. So if you have a fracture, it'll show up when it starts to heal a few weeks later. So that's why you could like do an X-ray, say it's all good, and then. But if it's a sudden impact, you can usually come back a little faster. But if it's like a stress fracture that just formed over time from overuse, then that's a little bit of a longer one because you really do have to like stop the activity altogether. I'm not a doctor. I just have had so many fractures. I ran in college, so I just have had so many fractures in my foot.
Apparently, he was seen at the training ground, and he's not wearing a boot or anything, so that's got to be a good sign, surely.
He was definitely in the crowd. Not this. I don't know about this game, but definitely the one before. I think when I saw the highlight, him and Kufal were both behind the team, sitting down.
If he's not wearing a boot, that's a good sign because you're in a boot the moment you fear anything like that.
And if you remember, when he got the injury, he had to walk all the way on his feet, all the way back, and it took forever. There's no stretch or anything for him. Wow. He had to hop his way and put a bit of pressure on that damaged foot, all the way across the pitch to get back. Yeah.
Well, let's get out the crystal ball and let's talk about April. There's 4 matches in April, or at least in the league anyway. So we got home to Everton, away to Brentford, home against Burnley, and away against the Ruskies. So Chelsea. So do we climb back up the table, or do we fall all the way down to 10th? Like, what's your prediction of the 4 matches? How many points can we pick up in 4 matches here? Let's go with let's start with Wally because he hasn't said anything in a minute.
All right. Well, you have to add to that 2, matches in the Europa League as well.
I'm just talking league right now.
I know, but that will affect the performances. I think we beat Everton and probably Burnley. Chelsea probably nothing. I hope we beat Brentford. So I would maybe say 7 or 9 points, hopefully. And I think Bowen's certainly in doubt for Everton. That's what I hear.
Yeah,
but I don't. Is Antonio's not on? He's not going to Jamaica, is he? So
apparently not.
No. Oh, good.
No.
So and the other thing is that you did bring up a good point about the Europa, because from what I saw, and what it feels like to me personally is that Moyes is putting all his eggs in the Europa basket and really focusing on that. Clearly not giving a shit about the Premier League as right now, anyway. As long as we're in the competition for Europa, because we are that close. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are so fucking close in Europa of having a shot, at least doing something good. I don't know. That's just my opinion. So I don't know. Maybe he
looks
might
like he's
some players might get hurt, some players get overtired or whatever. But yeah, Steve, go ahead.
It looks like he's doing what Pardew did when we went to the cup final against Liverpool. He put all his efforts into that, didn't he?
We had 4 strikers then, mate, as an example in the squad.
Well, this is true. This is true.
He's playing the same team in every team. I thought this was the game I wanted Areola to come into for Spurs.
Yes.
I thought on the back of that great performance, you've got to bring him in now, and he didn't. And well, we'll just wait. And yeah, it's for me 7 points. I think. Yeah, I think Brentford might be one of those teams that are our bogey team, because I was there when they won at London Stadium, and I don't know how they snatched the victory that day, but they did. They knew how to spoil the game. They kept wasting time and things like that. Everton should be a win. Brentford 1 point. Burnley perhaps a win. Yeah, Chelsea anything free hit, isn't it? If we get anything from that, even though we're kind of Chelsea's bogey team a little bit as well. But
true.
Yeah, and Tony, I agree with you, Tim. And Tony, I've had enough with him. Our fans' expectations are so low at the moment. Like Antonio, as soon as he starts running or pressing like Kane and Son was, they think Antonio's back. What a great player! But you got to score a goal, my man. You can't score 1 goal in 15, 16. It's just not good enough. And half the time, I don't know who our striker is. He's taking free kicks, throw-ins. He's on the wing. A couple of times, even a commentator said West Ham were in a great position. There was no one there. I think it's a bit with Eric Dyer. He made a mistake in his own area, and if we had another striker, he would have put it in, and there was no one there to slot it in. And
well, in the first 10 minutes, Antonio had a chance. It was 10 minutes, 11 minutes.
It was that world-class cross from Benrahma, and he just couldn't get to he's got sandwiched between 2 centre backs, didn't he? But yeah, it is what it is. It's going to be frustrating. But
you think 7 or 9, just like everybody else, pretty much. So
I think it's a case of holding Wolves back rather than we're not going to catch Arsenal, Tottenham. I don't think so. I think it's a case of don't slip any further and keep Wolves behind you. It's going to be that kind of thing. Yeah, making sure we keep ahead of them rather than trying to catch Arsenal, Spurs. I think. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Steve. How many points did you say?
Heart says 10, head says 4.
Really? Because Burnley are bogey team, aren't they, Steve? A little bit. Burnley are dodgy. Yeah.
I can see us beating Everton, getting a point against Brentford, and losing the other 2. But obviously,
that's what the brain says.
Yeah, me heart says 3 wins and then a draw with Chelsea.
All right. Before we get to Matt, Matthew Howard says 3 very winnable games out of those 4, 9 points minimum. That's very optimistic. Lee didn't really.
Masuaku, no excuse for starting Masuaku.
Exactly. Yeah, that's.
He gave away the first goal. He lost his mark on the halfway line, didn't he?
He was shocking.
Yeah,
that happened right in front of us. It was shocking.
Oh mate, he doesn't know how to mark players, does he? Yeah.
Good evening, Darren, and good evening, Lee. Lee said 7 points as well. And so, Matt, what do you think, man? How many points in the next 4?
In the next 4, 7 sounds about right. I want to say 9. I actually think Burnley is going to be the tougher one. I have a good feeling against it because I don't know. We caught Brentford at the worst time to catch Brentford last time around. They were getting a lot of breaks and just everything was kind of going their way. And they've cut, Eriksen's been good there, but they've pretty much come back down to earth. Everton actually gives me a bad feeling because I feel like the last few years we've won at Everton and lost at home against them, but they're pretty bad right now. I mean, they're at we should beat them. So yeah, I'm gonna go with 7 because I think we'll lose to Chelsea and get a draw with Burnley again, and maybe there'll be some like Dawson penalty we all complain we didn't get.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be tough. I mean, obviously, I agree. I'd like to stay in front of Wolves because that's really, I mean, Villa is 10 points behind Wolves now at this point. So it's going to be tough for them to make up that ground. And therefore, they had their little good run of form, and it's probably it seems to be tapering off a little bit now. So we'll see. I before the season, I thought 8th or better was a good goal. So I'd love to get back into Conference League at least. I know everyone makes fun of it, but I'd love to finish. I think one of the top teams will win the FA Cup, so I think that Conference League spot will be 7th. Would love another shot at Europa, but if we get in the Conference League, I'll be pretty happy.
Apparently, if we win the Europa, then the top 4 still go into Champions League, so we have 5. That was something I wasn't sure about, but 2 people have told me, no, it is 5. So yeah. I don't know if you guys know anything better. Yeah.
No, 5 is the max. I had this little fantasy, and I mean, yes, it involves United. It involves United winning Champions League, but I had this little fantasy that Spurs would finish 4th, we'd win Europa, and United would finish win the Champions League, and then it would happen to Spurs again, where they get.
I like that.
It was a complicated fantasy.
Arsenal, yeah.
Oh god. Well, the reason why. Well, I'll say I think that, listen, by the time we get to Burnley, which is match 3 out of those 4, I think we'll be extremely exhausted. And Burnley always is super physical with anybody, but especially with us. And they're not the type of team you want to play. I mean, they're not a fantastic showboaty team. They're just a really dirty physical team, really aggressive. And I think that will really hurt us. I think at best we would get a draw to that one. But look, we've lost to them in recent years as well. So Chelsea, I think we will absolutely get embarrassed, just like we did on Sunday. Everton, I think that we will draw or win. I don't think we'll lose to Everton, just because typically against Frank Lampard sides, we do okay. But Brentford scares me. I think at best we'll get a draw. So I don't know. Yeah, like what, 4-7 points, maybe somewhere around there. I personally,
that's if Frank Lampard's still at Everton by then.
Oh, I think it's only what? Oh, come on, there's only that's the first one. So that's April 3rd. I think he will. I think if he loses to West Ham, that'll be the death knell. So
wow. That'll be funny.
Clive says Burnley win. Darren says 12 points. Don't forget to hit the likes, please. Hey, there you go. But yeah, the reason why I brought that up and asked just to focus on April was because May's gonna suck. We got Arsenal. Sure, we got Norwich at home, but they'll be probably then we got City at home. Then Brighton away, which is never a fun time for us. Our results at Brighton are not usually good. Usually draw at best, right? So that's a horrible way to finish. Arsenal, Norwich, Man City, and Brighton in the last month. So that's why I was concerned about this month, because we need to rack up as many points as we can now if we want to stay above Wolves. I
think Tim is like after Christmas, it's like the defeat at home to Leeds and Southampton. That really hurt us, didn't it? I think that was not good enough. I think, and that's when Spurs Arsenal caught up. Yeah.
Well,
Tim.
Tim. Yes.
Sorry, I've got to shoot off because I've got to go to work.
Yeah. No, listen. Thank you for coming back, my friend.
But before I go, just briefly about May. I should be in California for May, in San Diego.
Ooh, excellent.
So San Diego Hammers, Shakespeare's, I believe it is. Every game in May.
At 4:30 in the morning. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, 4:30.
Yeah, listen. I'm a shift worker. 4:30 in the morning means nothing.
Okay.
I'll be knocking them up.
I'll make sure that they take video.
Really?
All right. Awesome, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah, great to see you.
I'll make sure they reach out to you too.
Thanks for inviting me. It's been great to see you all again.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much, Steve.
And, it's hard to get hold of.
Yeah, Jazz knows.
Take care, mate.
See you guys. So, take care.
Bye.
Looking at just because we were talking about Wolves, yeah, they got Chelsea as well. They got Liverpool. They got City to be confirmed. But then they got Villa, Newcastle, Burnley, Brighton, Norwich as well. It looks like similar schedule to ours, really, with the exception of they still haven't played Liverpool yet. So who knows? I mean, they could have some bad results in there as well. To kind of keep, I mean, if we can keep on, pace with them. So what the hell did Lee say? Lee said 8th gets us nothing in Europe, right? 7th gets Conference League, assuming we don't win the Europa League. Don't assume we're not going to win it. We're going to win it. We're going to beat Frankfurt because Frankfurt's going to beat Barcelona, and then we can beat Frankfurt. There we go.
Yeah, it was the derby, wasn't it? Not the derby, but the Classico, whatever they call it, last game. And yeah, those two teams are way above what their normal levels are, Real Madrid and Barcelona. They got Aubameyang scoring, but no, if only we had Bowen fit, and we'll see what happens.
If only we had depth.
Hopefully,
if only we signed someone not just in the January window, but maybe last summer. That would have been cool, to beef up the squad.
Oh, mate.
But we go. But again, so Jazz, perfect. I never get to ask you this. What are your thoughts on our youth? What are your thoughts on our under-23 squad? And is there anybody in there at all that you would think that, hey, maybe they should come up and get a shot? Anybody you see sitting on our bench that never just maybe they warm up the towels for the players and hand them the water bottles?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really follow them, to be fair, but I thought Ashby shows a bit of promise. He needs to work on his defensive side, but he's certainly very aggressive going forward. As you know, our fullback, especially Creswell, is the only fullback in the league. He doesn't take on anyone. He can't go past anyone or go to the touchline. What he does, he just pings the balls. He's good at passing from wherever he is.
Yeah,
taking free kicks, corners. So he's not your traditional Matty Cash, Digne, the Liverpool fullbacks that go down the wing, provide extra width, because sometimes we don't have width, do we? We cross the halfway line and then we're looking at each other because there's no one making a run or anything. So we have to stop. So I don't really know of anyone in under 23s.
What was the cup game that we lost where we played like 3 or 4 of our youth? Was that the League Cup or was that?
Are you talking about the last game of the Europa group?
Maybe that.
We played a lot of
Good job.
Yeah.
Because they didn't look that impressive, from what I remember, actually.
I mean, they were pretty disciplined, but that
comes down
to everybody knew the system pretty well. I feel like
there was a fullback that was good. Lugano, what's his name? Because of L.
Longello.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked good. Yeah, he looked good.
He did look good.
Usually pop up with those, plus this Sonny Perkins, plus the.
Perkins, not for me. Not for me. What I see of him.
Yeah,
he was pretty poor in that game. I just remember now. Dynamo.
Yeah.
Just didn't have the confidence to go in a couple of times.
But there was a match like before that everybody was singing his praises because
he came in late in one of the other group stage matches and he almost scored. He had an open header or something and he almost scored it.
He Antonio'd it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't
actually teach you that in the in the academy.
Yeah. Right.
Did you watch they broadcast the under 23s game against Brighton? It's like the only win I've ever seen a West Ham team get against Brighton, but it was Ekwa had a great goal where he created some space outside the box and blasted in a banger. It was nice.
Damn it! When they air those, I'm always friggin' working. I did get the notification that you could watch it, and I'm like, damn it, I can't.
I don't think we invest in the scouting system. I mean, you've seen the training ground; it's one of the poorest. So when you're attracting the best youngsters in London, you're up against Chelsea, Spurs, and Arsenal. It's not easy, is it? Really, even though Essex, it's a huge county and it's produced a lot of good players. So yeah, I don't think the owners believe in youth from a while. But I remember Sullivan 10 years ago said, to get one decent player out, we have to spend millions. He doesn't like the long-term thinking investment. He wants instant results.
Yeah.
Remember when he complained about spending $50,000 to transport the team for a League Cup game? It's the worst.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's who we got. That's what it is. And the whole smoke screens during the January transfer window to make it look like they were going after people that never going to get, thinking that maybe we would lay off them, but really, I don't know. But again, we're doing so well in the Europa League that I don't feel that there is still enough angst against, the board, because we're not as harsh on them because of our league position. The fact that we, are doing so well in the cup. What are you guys' thoughts?
I don't think we had any money hardly. I think we're still paying for Krau 25-30 million in the end. The loan fee, all the installments for Vlasic, that's going to be due in August, and I think the club have famously said, "Can we not pay them because they're Russian?" I think, which is quite embarrassing.
Yeah.
Krau's going to be 9-10 million in loan fees and wages or more at the end. Not even played him, wasted that.
Wow.
It's not looking good. I think those 50-60 million pound offers for that Leeds guy Phillips, and that was just. It was never going to be accepted,
That was so funny.
It was Rafinha and then Phillips. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Like 50 million.
That would have been great, but
no. But you're right.
In the sky, but
that was
for
a total
50 million
pounds
for a 70 million pound player, and then
don't forget,
they say no.
Don't forget, Sullivan is damaging relationships with these big European clubs for many years now. Marseille, they do not. Even Haller. I think we were late in one of the installments, and they didn't. We're doing that across Europe to everyone. So imagine there's two clubs in for a player. Whose bid they're going to accept?
Well, so my read on January, because obviously we should have signed somebody. It was pretty easy to see. But my read is, from what I saw with financial fair play, West Ham only have about 71 million pounds to spend between now and the end of the summer. So I don't know, unless they make a big sale, it's already pretty tight, and you can get you can get better deals on players in the summer than in January. Everyone's so overpriced. Yeah. So that was my read on it, but it still is just bring in somebody. Just bring in somebody to at least sit on the bench and push Antonio a bit. I mean, and I love Antonio. I'll defend him all the time, but I think we're lucky to have him because he's one of the. Moyes asks a lot of a striker, and there's not too many guys that can fill that role, and he fills it well because of just the pure chaos aspect of his game. But it still is like you just wish there was somebody. Even. Might get some flack for saying this, but even like just an Andy Carroll, if you could bring in like an Andy Carroll in like the 80th minute at this point, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It would at least be some sort of change of pace or something, launch balls at him and, see if you can bring him down for somebody else. It's just, so I'm of two minds. Like, I don't like the slagging off of Antonio. I think it's a little bit over the top, but I also do wish we'd done something.
So, okay. But the slagging, I understand, there's over the top slagging, but then
I'm talking about specifically the over the top slagging.
Okay, because when you don't provide results and you're just a body out there, not scoring goals as the only striker in the whole club, then he does deserve some criticism, especially when you have so many attacking midfielders that get him the ball and then he doesn't deliver on his job. It's kind of like me with goalkeepers. Like, keep the ball out of the fucking net. That's your job. You're a striker. Your job is to score goals. Obviously not like 7 goals in 5 games. I'm talking like Jazz mentioned earlier, like 1 goal in 15 games. That's not a striker. That's
his first touch has been
that's
awful.
Marwan Shah.
That's what about a touch against Spurs in the first half. Oh my God, the ball was just coming off him. He wasn't keeping it up. So there's other aspects to his game which we see at home, and I do see fans get agitated because he's not making those runs. He can't keep the ball. You give it to him, he comes back straight out, and they get the ball.
To his credit and to your defense, Matt, is that yes, he is again the only striker in the club, so he's overstretched, he's overworked, he's that's not necessarily his fault because he's put on the damn team sheet every friggin' minute, and he's running we're again. When's he going to pull his next hamstring, twist his ankle, whatever, bust his quad? I don't know. But that's, again, he's overworked maybe. But again, like you're on the pitch, score some goals.
I think it's two things. I agree with Jazz. It's the first touch is bad. I mean, West Ham's Twitter posted a video yesterday of Lingard's goal versus Arsenal last season. And it starts out with Antonio taking down a ball with like beautiful first touch and turning. And I don't know, maybe it's because guys are playing him a little more physically this season and he's got he's got an elbow in his back almost right away. But it's that, and he's not getting into dangerous positions enough because he's always missed sitters, but he's always made up for the fact that he misses sitters by getting into those dangerous positions more often. I follow the XG line of thinking that there's no such thing as a clinical striker. There's just guys that get in those dangerous positions more often than other guys. But, he always made up for not being very clinical by always finding his way into those spots. And he's not doing that to the same extent.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, he's done a lot for us, and I'll never forget that, and he was magnificent.
But on the flip side, it's the ridiculousness.
The point.
You can't be a team's all-time leading Premier League scorer and suck. So,
he didn't. Or maybe he had moments, but I'm just saying I don't know.
Maybe the injuries did him. Maybe the injuries gave him a nice little break.
Well, we nearly bought Zapata from Atlanta, who is Antonio Part 2. He's the same build, brilliant player in Europe, 5 million. What a deal! We messed it up. We didn't fax the papers or email, whatever you call it these days. Absolute joke. 5 million to get a player of that stature. My goodness.
Yeah. So whose idea was Vlasic again? I'm sorry, I missed that. Like, who was that? A Moyes signing?
I think they wanted Lingard throughout the window and wasted their time chasing him all the way. And then if you remember, even Zuma was only signed with I think 4 days to go.
Yeah.
Till the end of the window. So we had no one in, and so luckily he came through. Even then, they nearly messed the deal up because Chelsea stuck to their guns and said we want. I don't know, it was close to 30 million in the end, and West Ham were like 20. And that deal was about to mess up because Tottenham were in for Zuma. But luckily we got it. And then, panic buys. Král and Vlasic were just plucked out of nowhere. No one even had these players on their radar.
Yeah.
Absolute joke, yeah.
I was excited about Král. I was
yeah, me too.
Who's this guy? This is awesome. This is great. Yeah. It could be, like you said, under the radar. Next Souček type of signing, for us. And then what happened? Like, that's crazy.
I don't know.
Poor guy in 30 minutes.
A couple of things need to happen in this window, which is different. They need to overpay to get them in. We just have to do it. If someone wants 20, we cannot stick to 15 and waste a whole month. We got to pay 19, 20 and get it done. We're in that position now.
So you're okay with like a handful of 15 to 25 million pound signings versus like going after a big 50 million guy? Because again, like Matt was saying, due to the financial fair play, I don't see us selling any players right now. But like, because we can't afford to sell anybody. I mean, technically, so we're kind of stuck with what we got, but money wise. So if we only had 71 million pounds, you said, Matt?
That's what I had said.
So if we only had that, would you want like a 50 million and maybe like a 20 million, or you want a couple 20 millions, like 5 of them, or?
We're playing catch up with 2 windows. I would ruthlessly sell Vlasic. I would get rid of him. I would take a loss and get rid of him to bring more cash in, and then go in for the big striker and a cheap one, and then a playmaker, and then we need so many left back and a centre back next to Zuma, and tie up a permanent goalkeeper deal.
Yeah,
that's 6 already. So what do? You have to be clever. And are we going to get extra money from the Czech guy who apparently has lost a lot of money because of this war? I don't know. All the 40 million he injected has gone in repaying the loans to Sullivan and Gold. They didn't go into the club, and I don't know, mate. But we do need to invest heavily. We need a big striker, but I do want not to waste time. If someone ain't going to come, then at least bring 3 out your 5 deals in early. Then wait till the last week for the 2. Don't come to the last week. You got no one in.
Don't spend a whole month fucking negotiating. There's no interest. You move on. That's what pissed me off about Lingard.
Yeah.
The guy clearly doesn't want to fucking play for us. He wants to play for United, period. And the fact that even if he said, you know what, no, I'm okay. I'm once for the 5th fucking time in a row now. I said, all right, I'm not going to get playing time here. So yes, I'll leave. We're not your fucking ex bitch, and you're not coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, we don't. listen, you were fantastic for us. Thank you very much. But you don't want to be here, dude. Like, you would have already been here. So fuck him. Anyway, Wally, what would you do this summer? Would you go after a bunch of deals, which we're probably not going to find? Or what would you do, man? What do you want? What do you need?
If I'm in charge, my first piece of business
is re-signing Fredericks.
Yeah.
Keep Rice happy.
But besides that, but by the way, I'm resigned that I don't think they're going to sign him for anymore, and so he'll be off on a free. But anyway, yeah, I agree with Jazz. I mean, we got to get a decent striker in. We need left back help, and probably another center back.
Yeah.
And I guess, I was really hoping Kral would be like maybe the Rice replacement if Rice goes in the summer. But that doesn't seem like it's happening. I don't understand that. I'm pretty disappointed by that.
Rice is not going to sign another extension, and there's rumors that Fredericks is his best friend. That's why they're going to keep him on for another year. I can't believe that, but that's the rumor.
That's my only hope then.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I understand, but
and don't believe that story about Chelsea are poor now. They're not. They've got 21 billionaires ready to buy them, and half of them are richer than Abramovich. So don't worry about that story. Chelsea will come back stronger.
Yeah. Wow.
As a Jets fan, I really hope it's Woody Johnson who buys them, though, because he's terrible.
There we
go. Right.
So, Matt, what would you do, my man?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. Did you see the video of Ivan Toney saying they asked him who he plays for, and he goes, "No one good." So maybe he'll be available.
In the summer, yeah.
In the summer. But he'd be a good signing. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think step one is you got to find a way to hold on to Rice and Bowen if we want to keep progressing, and that's going to be difficult in its own right. I think Sullivan probably learned his lesson from the whole Pyatt thing, and if a player really wants to leave, you'll just let him go and not try to force him to stay or something like that. Yeah, it's tough. I'd like to see, I mean, realistically, the place we exist in the Premier League is we're going to have to take shots on 20 to 30 million pound players and hope they develop. And we've been pretty fortunate so far with, Bowen, Souček, Sufal. Like Vlasic, I still have hope for. Kral, I think they're just letting them ride the bench so they can send him back after the loan's over, which is fine because he hasn't looked too good when he's played.
Vlasic, I think he scored against Southampton, which was one of the first 2 games of the season, was it? Something like that. And since then, he missed that glaring miss at Sevilla away, didn't he, when he headed it straight. I don't know with him. Yeah.
It's tough because when he comes on, he looks lively. He makes things happen. Yeah, so I don't know. I think Lingard on free. I know you're not a fan already, Tim, but it sounds like he did want to come back in January, and just the Manchester United board eventually just shut it all down. Ragnick said yes, and then the Manchester United board said no. So we'll see what happens there. It'll either be us or Newcastle on a free for him.
Yeah, I put money on him going to Newcastle. Because again, there's all the money in the world. I mean, that's more enticing.
$300K a week and
get his payday. That's what it's all about, man. It's all about the money. So, so listen. About I think it was summer of 2019. I made a little joke on one of our shows, and I basically told somebody before we even went on, like, listen, I'm going to use Football Manager and transfermarket.com and actually come up with we're going to do a little transfer show, and I'm going to just blow smoke up people's asses saying that I found these transfer rumors of like people that we're linked with, and Ivan Toney was one of them, and I wasn't blowing smoke. It's just like this dude. I'm like, dude, this guy was fucking lighting up League One for years, dude. And then there was a lot of championship clubs that were looking at him, and there was a couple Premier League clubs, but then he ended up obviously, ending up where he is. But the fact that, I was like, dude, I wanted him back then. And so I went on the show and I said, yeah, man, Ivan Toney, man, it would be a brilliant move. And that was like, it was, I think, the summer of 2019. And look what he's doing. And who knows? I would love to have him. I would still love to have him. He's just one of those guys that, again, it's right place at right time. He's like the Kevin Nolan of strikers, where like he's always in the right fucking spot. to be able to score goals, and that's what you want as a striker, not a fucking attacking midfielder. Well, you do want that as attacking midfielder too, but it's better as a striker, obviously. So yeah, we could use that for sure.
Yeah, I like Ollie Watkins, but he's gone a bit off form recently. Don't know what's up with him, but he certainly got everything in his locker to play up front by himself.
But that's him though. So basically, he did the same thing in championship. He did the same thing. I mean, he'd go on form and a hot stretch where he'd fucking smash, 12 goals in 5 games. And the next thing you know, he ends up with 14 in the season or something. You know what I mean? That was, I don't know. I mean, well, I'll take the fucking 14 goals though any day, over fucking 5 or 7 or whatever from Antonio. But yeah. We need to move on anyway. The guys, Antonio's moving up there in age, and Dawson, like you said. Listen, I love Dawson, and we love Dawson for what he's done. Every fucking moment that he's played for us, he's done something. You know what I mean? But he's not getting any younger either. So next year, his somethings are going to be past. His expiration date is, it's due, man. Like he's not going to be the same guy next season as he was this season and the prior season. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what happens with these older guys. Fabianski, I've said that for years. As soon as he had that first hip injury, a goalkeeper with a hip injury, that's a lingering thing that will come back quicker and more rapid, especially as you age. And he's just not the same player he was his first season with us, or even second season with us. And it's just going to decline. So would you guys jump on the chance to like make the move permanent for Areola, or would you look somewhere else?
Yeah.
Start with Matt and go around.
I would.
I think,
and I do have to sign off, guys, so I'll let you guys answer. But thanks for having me on.
Thanks for popping on, Matt.
Appreciate it,
bro.
Okay, bye.
Talk soon, man.
I think the Tammy Abraham train went, didn't it? He's got 23 goals this season for Roma.
That's another one.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Listen, we've missed so many of those. You can make a list. You can make a starting 11 of just strikers that we fucking missed out on.
Yeah. Well, that save that Areola made at Sevilla in the Sevilla match was just amazing. He was going the other way and somehow flicked out his wrist, and it was strong enough to like parry it off. That was amazing.
He had a strong start for us just in general, like with those cup matches and shit like that. He was doing well, and then he came back down to earth, and obviously he gave up some goals. I can't remember what I think it was it Southampton.
Yeah.
In a cup match, and he fucking let in 3. I mean, like whatever, it shit happens. But guess what? It happens less often to him than it does Floppy Hansky. So I don't know. Plus he's young. Let's groom this fucking guy. Let him be the next Robert Greene for us. You know what I mean, or whatever. Let's keep him around for years. That's what I say.
Well, my only concern. My only concern is he's on such high wages. I don't know if he would take less to play with us. So
14. I think what's the fee agreed? 14 million. Bring him in. Bring Sam Johnson in as well on a 3. You got 3 goalkeepers for life then, and then push Fabianski out the year after. The job done. 14 million. You're getting 2 goalkeepers.
Yeah.
What more does West Ham as usual? No, we only want to pay 9, and then it'll go on and on and on, and then Newcastle come in and take 1 or 2. But the big problem we had was in the window, we were in the top 4. We were ahead of Newcastle, Everton, Villa, Spurs, Arsenal, and we still didn't sign anyone. And now, when we go in the window, apparently with a bit more money, the preference for players is going to be Arsenal, Spurs, Newcastle, and Villa, and we're going to be competing with them. So 2 windows we wasted when we were ahead of those guys,
especially on wages. Like, if the player is in it for the wages, then we have no fucking chance. But if the player, wants to be part of a fucking club with a decent atmosphere of like the actual dressing room, I mean, anybody who's ever, even Jesse Lingard could probably fucking vouch for that. But you know what? I think he's more in it for the money even still. But I don't know, man. We got to wrap this up just so you guys know. I'm not Lee, even though Lee's in the chat.
Yeah.
Lee goes on for 3 or 4 hours. I'm capped at an hour. But
yeah.
Okay, so I gotta work.
Yeah,
I do my work. But listen, guys. Again, everybody in the chat room, thank you so much for popping in. Nice to see Hammers Poles there too, as always. And Disabled Team and Lee, and I guess we had Green Street Elites, Clive Bradford, Darren Higgins, Matt Howard, as always. Good to see you in there, brother. And Mark R was the first one to comment today. Hey, everyone, we still are massive. I'd like to end that one. So, but real quick, Jazz, before we leave, like, tell us about your channel and how people can see you and social media and stuff like that, and follow the channel.
Yeah, it's called the West Ham Irons channel. We've been going for just over 2 months. West Ham Irons channel. Follow me there. We do loads of stuff for Hammer history. We do like a courtroom thing with controversial questions, and people attend as defendants or prosecution team, and then we have jury.
Oh, wow. That's fun.
We're going to do a bit more of that. We do sort of fan chats before and after the game at the ground.
Yeah.
Then we do one-to-ones afterwards. There's a few other things that we do. I forgot now. What else I do, Wally? Transfer window shows we did together. we did the transfer window show with Wally. That was 8-9 hours long.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another one I'm doing. It's called We Were There, talking to fans, starting with the 1980 FA Cup. We were actually there at the ground.
Oh, cool.
That's coming. So it won't be much about what went on the ground. We all know what happened. It'll be about, in those days, how did you get tickets? What happened on the day?
Oh, wow.
What was your experience? So we'll be going through.
That is good stuff.
A lot of We Were There, different things like that going on top of my head, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, so find me on there, mate.
Yeah, definitely. I'm subscribed. I hope everybody listening here or watches this after the fact subscribes.
Yep.
So Wally, what's up for you next, my man? You gonna head down to Philly sometime soon, or what are you doing?
Well, we got a couple of weeks of break here, so I got to get back.
Time to refresh. Time to energize yourself. Pack your bags.
Re-energize. Yeah. I mean, what was it? Or Sunday would have been the perfect time to go down to Stowe's because it was like a 12:30 in the afternoon match.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was nice weather, but I just knew I don't think we're gonna do it against Tottenham after that massive match on Thursday. So
well, out of the next 4 matches, the league matches anyway, I think Everton is the one that we really could. I think we could win. So I would, if you're looking for a win, then I would go down to that one. But,
there we go.
Yeah, man. But I'll be in the area for Brentford, but I'm not making the hour ride.
No.
Because I'll be at a horror convention, and I'll be too tired. But drive early in the morning for a Brentford match because I know we're not going to do well against Brentford. But anyway,
wow.
But yeah. So anyway, guys, thanks everyone in the chat. Thanks everybody who watched us after the fact. Please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to Jazz's channel as well, and make sure you help us out and buy some stuff in our shop, which is ahtv.threadless.com. I did post a link in the description, so if you don't understand me, you can take a look down there and click on it. We'll be doing this pretty much every Tuesday or Wednesday, barring my ridiculous schedule, but definitely this time. And I know Lee will probably be doing a show sometime this week. I don't know when. I know he's been changing that up as well.
Yeah, he might be shooting for Friday nights.
Friday nights, that's right. So we can get Sully on because we miss Sully. And again, one last thing too. If anybody who wants to do a show on the channel, pop on. We're also still looking for a host for 2 different game shows. You just got to reach out to us on social media and let's make some shit happen. Come on, you Irons. I'll talk to you guys off the air. But come on, you Irons.